Hi guys, Jeremy Ferry with Pure Performance Fitness Center here, back with another video in the mechanical tension series. Today we're talking about pecs. So when we're talking about a pec, we need to understand fiber orientation, and the modalities that we're going to be using today are going to be barbell and dumbbells, and with a little help from gravity, this will work the way we want it to. So pec fiber orientation. When we talk about this, you need to understand there are three main orientations for the pec. All three of them attach up here, and then they fan out across your chest, and one attaches lower, and the fiber orientation will be like so. The fiber orientation for the mid pec is going to be like so, and the fiber orientation for the upper pec is going to be like so. It's important to keep these in mind because when you're using dumbbells, barbells, anything that's not a machine or a cable, we need to keep in mind gravity is always doing one thing, and that's pushing us down. So when we use free weights, our setup is going to be highly dependent on which one of these fibers we're trying to bias. I guess before we get into that, we need to talk about the action of the pec. It's going to primarily be responsible for bringing our arm in or adduction. This looks a lot like a fly, right? It'll also be responsible for adduction as we're pressing. So if we're trying to bias the upper pec fibers, that's probably going to be an incline press. If we're trying to bias the lower pec fibers, that's probably going to be a decline press. I'm not going to cover either of those in this video today because I feel like it'll take too much time. And once you get the principle for how to actually set up proper mechanical tension through your pec, you'll be able to transfer that to an incline or a decline pretty effectively. So today we're going to talk about barbell bench press and dumbbell bench press. The setup is similar, but they've got different advantages. So after you get the proper exercise setup, next in determining mechanical tension is probably going to be how much you can load it, like how much weight you can lift doing that exercise, or it's probably going to be the range of motion, and then again, how much volume you're doing in the subsequent exercises, which we're not going to cover that here. So for barbell bench press, it's important to set the bar up to where when you go to unrack it, you don't have to throw your shoulders forward. Because in our setup, we're going to pull our shoulders down and back. Now, for those watching this, this is a very general setup. This is not going to be specific to your anatomy. And if you want more instruction on a bench press, you can reach out to me or several other professionals like power lifters that'll be able to assist you there. Shoulders down and back, meaning shoulder blades. So you'll take these bad boys, you'll pull them in, and then rotate them underneath of you. I'm going to grab where I normally grab for my bench press, which is my pinky on the first ring of the bar. You might not be able to see that, and that's okay. But there are two rings on this particular barbell. Some barbells will only have one ring. I suggest going about 3 inches inside of that then, at least for right now, unless you have a specific setup you like to use. Stomach tight, butt flat on the bench, and make sure that if you're giving yourself a handoff, again, we have this set in a place where when we lift off, we don't have to extend our shoulders, right? We don't want to end up pushing up and losing that shoulder positioning. We want to make sure we lock our shoulder blades down and back, because getting them back to where they were under load that you're going to be benching is very hard to do. So stomach tight, squeeze the barbell. You're going to slowly lower the bar down to your chest. Elbows will angle in a little bit, but make sure they're directly under your wrists. It's going to provide the most power for pushing. Touch your chest, and then push straight up. One of the most important aspects to this in generating mechanical tension through your pec is going to be making sure that when you come down with this, we don't dump our shoulder forward. So as I'm down here, you don't see my shoulder come forward like this, right? We want to stay underneath the bar, not tilting forward, okay? Now, the advantage the barbell has is I can really load that once I get proficient with it. Load is going to put more mechanical tension through my pec. Now, the downside is my hands are in a fixed position on the barbell. So when I'm pressing, they stay in this plane of motion. I told you the pec is responsible for adduction, meaning it's bringing our upper arm in. We get less adduction when our hands are in a fixed position. However, we have dumbbells. So dumbbells are going to allow us more freedom of movement, thus more range of motion. But they're also going to lead to us not being able to lift as much load. So there is a trade-off. The setup, the exact same thing. Shoulders down and back. Because we have the ability to, we'll kick our dumbbells in close to our chest. Now, I see this a lot with people. They really want to flare their elbows out and kind of internally rotate their humerus. We do not want to do that. We want to keep our elbows in a little bit. That's going to allow us to take some of the tension off of our shoulders. You might make a case that if you really flare your elbows, you can put more mechanical tension through your pec. But I'm going to say that just for argument's sake, it's probably putting your shoulder at a disadvantaged position, and we don't want to do that over time. Press straight up like so, and you'll notice that because my hands aren't fixed, I can bring them in an arcing motion, and you really want to take advantage of that, ending with your hands right above your shoulders as you press. So, the two main differences, I can really load this, a little less range of motion for my pec. I can't load this as much, but much more range of motion. Now, I'm not going to cover a fly here. That doesn't mean they're not great. I think flies are one of the best ways to really work your chest. But these two afford you the opportunity to put more load into that pec fiber. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got something to take away from it. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below if you have any questions. I'll see you guys in the next video.